Gulp, gulp. Hi guys, and welcome to the March edition of Ask T, which is my monthly Q&A. Well, I'm trying to make these monthly. So far, I'm doing well in 2025. So I have you guys questions here on my remarkable, on my remarkable. So I'm going to go through the questions. If you have any questions while I am live, or if you watch this after the fact, I'm going to try my best to look straight at the camera, guys. But yeah, sorry if I don't. If you have any questions and you're watching this after the fact, then you can pop them in the comment section and I can try and answer them either on the next live, or if I think I can make a whole video about it, then I will try and do that as well. But like I said, I'm trying to make these monthly and so far I'm doing well. So yeah, thank you for joining or watching this if you are watching the replay. And like I said, you can leave your questions in the comments, you can email me, you can DM me on Instagram, and that's how you can get your questions to me. So please bear with me, guys. I'm not feeling 100% today, so yeah, please bear with me, but I'm going to get into the questions. So the first question I've got here is, what's the best age to start sprinting? And just, I forgot to say, you can ask questions about sprinting, you can ask questions about fitness, you can ask questions about the gym, training, life. It's up to you guys. But yeah, first question, what's the best age to start sprinting? I'm going to say whatever age you are right now, okay? Whatever age you are right now is going to be the best age to start sprinting. I think as well, it depends on what your goals are. So let's say you're saying, if you're someone who's asking this question and you're somebody who, let's say you have a goal of making it as a professional athlete, then obviously the earlier you start, it's going to give you, you're going to have more experience, because the thing when it comes to competing, it's not just about the gifted side of things, not just about the skill side of things, not just about the fitness side of things. There's also the whole mental side and the whole, which is why you hear commentators all the time say that someone's very experienced, for example, if they've been doing it for, if the older they are as an athlete, because they have a lot of experience of competing, how to conduct themselves, how to handle nerves, all of that kind of thing. So if you're looking to make it a profession, then obviously starting a bit younger is going to help you. So even starting your teens as young, people are like, oh, I'm 16, is it too late? You're still young, but obviously the longer you've been doing it, like I said, the more experience you gain, the more you learn about yourself as an athlete, the more you know about the sport, all that kind of stuff. So it helps in that capacity. But then in terms of, if you want to compete, you can compete at any age. So there is, once you're over 35, or you're from when you're 35, your class is a masters athlete. So even if whether you're younger than 35 or whether you're older than 35, sorry guys, what's happening? I think I keep cutting in and out. Really sorry about this, guys. Hopefully this is okay now. But yeah, you have competitive opportunities. So whether it's European Masters, World Masters, indoors and outdoors, there's competitive opportunities like that. So it's not only when you're a junior, when you're a younger athlete who's under 20, or whether you're a senior athlete, that you have opportunities to compete, like on a global stage, on a European stage, if you're from Europe, for example. But there's opportunities to compete. So whatever age you are now, you can do that. And also, if you don't want to compete and you just want to keep fit, it's my voice, guys. So if you can hear that, my voice just decided to go like yesterday. But it's here, but it's like, it's not, my throat's not sore, which is good. But yeah, if you just want to sprint, the question is, what's the best age to start sprinting? If you just want to sprint to keep fit, now is the best time, right? There's so much more research, so much more studies. People are discovering the benefits of sprinting. So whatever age you are now is going to be the best age to start sprinting. So question 2, if you've never sprinted before, where's the best place to start? What exercises should you do? What distance should you do? So if you've never sprinted before, sorry guys. If you've never sprinted before, so I like to say that drills is a really good place to start. So if you don't really know how to run, you're not really sure about technical things, because most people, when you see them go running, so we're running like long distance, going for a jog, it doesn't tend to look pretty. It doesn't tend to look pretty. And when you go for sprinting, you're going to be pushing your body at a very high intensity, right? So getting the technique down is really, really important, because that's going to help you minimize injuries, and it's going to also make you more efficient, mean that you're able to actually run faster and stuff like that, right? So I think drills is a really good place to start if you're someone who's never done this sprint, you've never sprinted before, really, apart from when you were a kid, like just for fun outside with your friends or whatever, or you run for a bus. But if you want to now start doing it as part of your fitness routine, if you want to start doing it now, you're like, oh, okay, I keep seeing this stuff about sprinting, I want to like get into it, I like competing or whatever it is, I think drills is a really great place to start, because it starts teaching you like technical movements. It starts getting you understanding like where your body is, understanding your body's movements, little things like dorsiflexion, where you should land on your foot, body position, all that kind of stuff, arm position. It starts teaching you these technical movements and giving you the same sort of feelings that you begin to look for when you sprint. So I think drills is a really, really good place to start. And while I'm talking right this second, I just got this idea, like, should I do like a drills workshop or something? If I did that, guys, would you come? If I did like a drills workshop, would you be interested in something like that? But yeah, I've got loads of videos on my channel about drills, about, you know, how to do the drills, different kind of drills. But I think drills is a really great place to start. And in terms of like, what if you're just going for sprinting now, what distance is, I'm really a fan of short to long approach, because I think that helps you to like, you can progress short to long and also gradually increasing your intensity as well. So don't just go for like 100% sprints immediately. I think you should, like I said, work on your technique, work on making sure your body is working on your body, so making sure that it's able to function properly, so working out those kinks, loosening up a bit, mobilizing your body properly and all that kind of stuff, learning technique. But I think starting short and gradually increasing the distance that you're able to sprint, and also starting on a lower intensity. Sprinting low intensity is not jogging. It's not jogging. It's still sprinting, but low intensity sprinting might be tempo runs, for example. It might be like 60, 70%. And a lot of people, if you've never sprinted before, are not actually really sure what that kind of pace like looks like. It's still like a decent stride pace, but it's getting and then gradually increasing the intensity from there, gradually increasing the speed from there, gradually increasing the distance from there. So I'm kind of a fan of short to long, and also like gradually increasing intensity as you get fitter as well. So that's my advice, since this is Ask T, that's what T's saying, right? Question number 3. So I've got 10 questions, guys. No, 9. I've got 9 questions. The question number 3: how do you book a slot for the Pura Track Speed Camp 2026? Do you have to be a competitive athlete to attend? No, you don't have to be a competitive athlete to attend. So if you don't know what this person's talking about, this year in 2025, in January, we held our first Pure Track Speed Camp, which is going to be my speed camp that I host annually. This was the inaugural one, so it was the first one, and we went to Tenerife. If you haven't checked out, we did a live stream when we was there. I had 2 ladies join me. So I had Dee and Nancy. There was going to be 4 people that was going to come, but we ended up having 2 because the other 2 couldn't come last minute. But we had an amazing time. It was really, really good. I've been like drip feeding the blog. There's loads of video footage, but I haven't got around to releasing that yet. But I will be doing that throughout this year. But we basically went to Tenerife for a week and we had a speed camp. So it's going to be annual, and the next one's going to be held in 2026. So the 3rd full week of January annually is when the Pure Track Speed Camp is going to take place. So the person's asking, do you have to be a competitive athlete to attend? No, you do not. Both ladies that came with me this year are actually clients of mine, and both of them were not sprinters. They did not do sprinting. They'd never done sprinting before in their life. At this present time, one is 32 and one is 47. I might be getting a bit wrong, but as you can see, in their 30s and 40s, and they started it in their 30s and 40s, right? And so, but now one of them, Nancy, is actually, since Tenerife, wants to compete. So you don't have to be a competitive athlete. You might leave Tenerife not wanting to compete, but with both of the ladies, I've seen a significant and a drastic change in their mindset, in their approach to training, in their excitement for training. And so, no, you don't have to be a competitive athlete, but I would advise that you are in a good place of fitness, because it's going to be a week of training, right? So you want to be able to enjoy the week, be able to enjoy the sessions. Obviously, the priority when we go to Tenerife, when we're in the warm in January, is track, because obviously if you live in a cold country like the UK in the winter, then obviously you can't outside, you don't enjoy, it's cold. So you can't enjoy sprinting the same way. You still do it, but it's not the same as when you're in the sun and you're able to sprint in the sun. So going to somewhere like Tenerife in January, where it's consistently in the 20s, it's really, really nice. It really, really sets you up for the year, and it really, really, yeah, it's just really, really enjoyable. We had a really great time. We had a great time, right? So how do you how do you book a slot for it? So if you go to my website, tarimathompson.uk/camp, you will see all the information there. And so right now, registration's open for next year. Is at the early bird price right now, and early bird prices will end at the end of August, I believe, and then the prices will go up. So if you want to get a space, if you want to book it early, I advise you to do that. So check out tarimathompson.uk/camp, and you'll see all the information about the camp. No, you do not have to be a competitive athlete. I've got lots of people asking me this question. A lot of people are interested in coming, but it's like, oh, am I going to be so far behind? No, wherever you are. But I would say you've got, from now, we're in nearly April, it's March, the end of March, you've got all the way till January. So use this time to, if you're not fit right now, it's like, okay, cool, you've got like what, 8-9 months to get fit for an amazing speed camp, an amazing training experience opportunity, and meet amazing people, have a really great time. It was really great, and there's a lot of different benefits. But read my blog, watch the videos, subscribe to my channel so you see the videos when they come out, and listen to the ladies' feedback about it. But yeah, it was amazing, and we're going to have an amazing time again in January. So if you're interested, then definitely check that out. Okay, next question. I read that if you improve your deadlift, and I really hope you guys can hear me. Oh my days, imagine. I really hope you can hear me. I read that if you improve your deadlift, it can help improve your vertical jump. However, over the past year, I've improved my deadlift by 30 kg, but my vertical jump hasn't improved. Why? What would you recommend? Okay, so this is quite interesting. So I did speak to this person about this, but I thought it was a good question, so I was also bringing it to the live. So they've improved their strength. So we know that speed times strength gives you power. Now, when you're trying to increase your power, of course, if you are able to increase your strength, you would assume that you're going to be able to be more explosive, be more powerful, right? Which I think, but this person's saying that they didn't see an improvement over a year's period of increasing their deadlift by 30 kg. Now, when you think about how like sprinters train, where it's an explosive movement, explosive sport, sprinting is explosive, it requires you to be able to produce a lot of power in a very short space of time. A vertical jump requires you to produce power in a short space of time, but not as short as sprinting, and not as long as something like a box jump or something like that, right? You have a little bit less time because there's usually a run up and then you jump, or you might, it depends how you're doing it, right? Now, if you've increased your strength but you haven't seen any improvement in your actual jump, I would assume, because if you're doing a deadlift is quite a long time under tension compared to, say, a jump, compared to, say, sprinting. So let's say you've increased your bottom line of your strength, it's gone up, but you've become a little bit slower because you've been doing that so consistently. So you haven't maintained the speed aspect per se. So I would basically, what my suggestion is to kind of go in like cycles, like peaks and what's the word? What is it? When you go, that's what we do when it comes to the season. So during the winter, we might build strength, we might get stronger, and the aim and the hope is that strength is going to help you to be more powerful in the long run. But you don't want to be slow with it. So therefore, there's points where you either drop the repetitions and you are able to do it more. You're able to produce do more reps. Drop the repetitions, do more weight, but make it snappy, or you drop the weight a little bit. You're trying to find that optimal place where you're still able to be very quick, but keep that strength. So you've increased your strength. If you've increased your strength, thankfully you haven't dropped in your jump, right? But if you haven't seen an improvement, my suggestion was, rather than just keep increasing the weight, is at some point come down with the weight a little bit and start to do a bit more explosive or a bit quicker movements again, so that you get those fast twitch fibers, that you're able to produce more force now because you're stronger in a short space of time. So maybe what's happened is, because you've just been focusing on getting strong, you kind of slowed down. So where you were much quicker before, and because your speed was what was helping you to get that jump, your ability to produce force quickly was helping you to get the jump. Now you've increased your strength, so technically speaking, you should be able to jump higher, but you need to get back to where you were with your speed. So kind of go in cycles. So don't just keep constantly always aiming for more and more strength, because there's a point where you're increasing strength where, let's say, you slow down. So therefore, bring the weight down again a little bit, or try and find the optimal place where you're able to get that speed side of your equation back up again, so that you're more powerful in that aspect. So yes, increase the strength, but don't do it to the detriment of your speed, so that your power you don't see the benefit in the power output, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. I try to say it in simple terms. Let me know if I did a good job at that or not. Sometimes it's hard, like you have a picture in your head how you want to say something, but you have to try to like get it across so everyone understands. Okay, question number 5. Like I said, guys, I got 9 questions. I'm on number 5. How to overcome gym anxiety as a beginner. The gym can be an intimidating place. That is true. It can be an intimidating place. The how to overcome gym anxiety as a beginner. So a few things that come to mind right now. So I think first of all, just visiting the gym. So the gym that you're going to go to, you could either go with somebody. So you could just go with somebody, or if you go to the gym first just to visit it, see what it's like, not necessarily doing anything, just walk around, get familiar with the machine, get familiar with where things are, because sometimes some of the intimidation is like feeling out of place, like you don't really know what's going on. So like whatever gym you're going to visit, or that's going to be your gym, maybe you can first of all just go there, do a day or two where you just familiarize yourself, because when you feel a bit more familiar with a place, you tend to feel less anxious, you tend to feel less intimidated, right? So first of all, maybe you could just visit it just to get used to where things are, where the changing room is, where am I going to put my stuff, like just build a little like routine like that. You don't have to go straight in and like, you know, start working out or whatever. So that might be part of the intimidation. The other part of it might be the fact that you're not really sure what you're going to do. So before you go, maybe you just if you've already looked around and you know what machines are going to be there, where things are, another way of helping you minimize anxiety can be like actually creating yourself a little plan of what you're going to do. So it's like, what am I going to do? I see a question. I'll have a look at that in a second. Having a think about what you're going to do when you get to the gym. So if you've looked around and you know what machines are there, what equipment's there, where things are, then another way to minimize anxiety can be to feel a bit more prepared in terms of what you're going to do. So again, you don't have to like try to do things that's way out of your league. Good to see you too. Thank you. Don't have to do things that you feel like you're not. Begin with things that you feel comfortable doing, right? Begin with things that you feel comfortable doing. And sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments now. Begin with things that you feel comfortable doing. Yeah, so that again can minimize anxiety. So if you feel like, don't try to do advanced things straight away, just begin with things that you feel comfortable doing. So have a little plan. So familiarize yourself with where things are, have a little plan so you know what you're going to do. That can also minimize anxiety. Going with somebody, like I was going to say before, if you go with a friend, that can minimize it. Or making friends. So that could be a member of staff that works there. So just even saying hi to them, or even letting them know, this is my first time at the gym, could you show me around, or something like that. Those are a couple of ways that I think. So just starting off simple, not having to think you need to be like an Instagram babe like the first day that you go. Everyone just feels like they have to do stuff that's on Instagram like straight away, but begin with things that you feel comfortable doing, and then you can like build up from there. But a lot of time, most people are in the same boat, and I love seeing people, like obviously like my gym, I like to make people welcome. So try and find a friendly face, someone that's smiling at you. And if you feel confident enough just to speak to them, then you can. But like I said, familiarize yourself with the place, having a little plan of what you're going to do. And if you like, I don't even know what to do, or I can't even think about putting together, then reach out to a personal trainer, a gym instructor. You can contact me if you want to. But yeah, you can get someone else to give you a plan if you're like not confident, or if even creating something for yourself. But I think those kind of ways can help you minimize and overcome gym anxiety as a beginner, because a lot of it is just like feeling out of place. I don't know what I'm doing. And so if you just take little steps at a time, then you can actually minimize some of that anxiety. So question number 6. Let me ask one of these questions that's on the live right now. So hi guys, thank you for joining me. So hi Ross. Sister, how do I train in competition season? What event do you do? Are you a sprinter? And I'll come back to that question if you answer that. What are your best strategies for getting your quota of sleep and recovering from a hard session? Okay, my best strategies, guys, even I'm struggling with that one. But I think some of the simple things that are overlooked. So if you have a bedtime routine, in terms of sleep, right? So a lot of time, one of the issues a lot of us struggle with sleep now is like this being on your phone thing. Honestly, all this screen time, it really messes up your cycle a little bit. So if you have a routine where you minimize screen time towards bedtime, so for example, maybe you don't an hour before bed, you stop going on your phone, or you don't have your phone in your room, or you have your phone so far away from you so you're not tempted to just be on it before you go to sleep. But for me personally, like when I get home from work, a shower, like a hot shower, is a must before bed. Like that helps me to feel relaxed before I go to sleep. So you might be someone who like reads, maybe if you preferably not on your phone. So in terms of sleep, I think a routine, if you have a routine, it helps. The same way that you have a routine, for example, to hopefully you do, to warm up, which gets you mentally prepared, physically prepared. I think if you have a routine to get to bed, it helps you to wind down. I think if you don't wind down properly, then sometimes you fall asleep. Like you might conk out, and conking out doesn't help you necessarily to feel rested fully. So if you have a routine where you're like winding down, so that's one of my first strategies I would say. But I think also like what you eat can play a role in that as well. So hopefully you're thinking about what you eat in terms of like, because you're either an athlete or you're someone who's cares about your fitness. Ooh, sorry guys. Then you actually don't eat like rubbish before you're going to go to bed, or really high sugary foods or stuff like that. So you're actually eating well, so your body feels energized and replenished after a session. So after a session, really, like honestly, something like chicken, rice and veg is like the perfect balance for what you need after you've trained, right? You got your protein, you got your carbohydrates, you've got all your vitamins and minerals in there, and literally, so a balance like that is really what you want. So protein wise, obviously that's important. Lean meats, fish, like beans, lentils, that kind of thing, if you can get those. Your carbohydrates, going for like whole grain carbs instead of like white carbs if you can. So recovery in terms of nutrition, hydration is a part of your nutrition. That's really important as well. So making sure you're drinking enough water, getting enough electrolyte so your muscles are not like cramping or anything like that as well. And then in terms of like sleep and recovering from hard session, I hate doing ice baths, but I'm not gonna lie, they can be beneficial. It depends where you are in the season and what kind of sessions you've done. But also like just like I said, for me, hot shower, because it helps me to feel relaxed and helps my muscles to relax. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful. Let me know. Don't let your device become biases. Yeah, 100-meter sprinter. So in terms of training during a competition season, so if you're a sprinter, so let's say it's at this time, let's say that right now, so whoever just asked that question, Darren, what are your sessions? I'm going to answer that question because I had that question on here actually, on my Remarkable. Guys, I keep going about Remarkable. This is one of the best things I bought. I need to be a like affiliate or something. They need to give me a percentage because I've got people buying it. Oh, but it's for the right people. But let me come back to this question. During the season, as a sprinter, how should you be training? Now, I personally believe when it get like, you should have done this already. You should know at this point, it's the end of March. For us, April is the outdoor season begins, right? You kind of gonna get an idea as to when competitions are and what your main focus is this season. So if you know, I need to sneeze. Sorry guys. Sorry. If you know what your main focus is this season, I can't see the chat, then it helps you to get an idea as to when you want to quote unquote peak. Peaking is a thing, but I think you can also run fast like throughout the season. It's not like, oh, I can only run fast at that time. So when I say peak, it's like what your main priority is when you want to be when you need to be at your best, right? Your absolute best. You want to be at your best anyway, but when you need to be at your absolute best. So you need to be doing acceleration work. If you're not doing it, if you're not doing your starts, thank you, bless you. If you're not doing your starts, like your starts and acceleration work, which you should have been doing kind of anyway, it's kind of one of those things that you drip feed into even throughout winter. I personally think you should do that. And if you've done indoors, then it's helped you to see like where you're lacking on that side of things. But you need to be doing max velocity work. Your speed endurance kind of thing is now when the runs are really fast and long, and when you might need longer recovery. So in essence, you're also, in terms of gym work, your lifts at this point in the season, if you're doing a lot more reps, then your reps are going to come down. They should have come down anyway, like into the power range, strength and power range. So that's like 1 to 5, like sort of range. So everything needs to be fast and explosive. Obviously, you still want to get some speed endurance. Speed endurance looks different depending on whether you're like more of a simply 100 sprinter or a 200 sprinter or a 2-4 sprinter, like, or if you're one of them special people that does everything 1 to 4. But really, it kind of just looks like refining all the parts of your race. So you've got to start, you've got acceleration, you've got max velocity, you've got speed maintenance. So you need to break up your week so that you're able to cover these things, or your 2 weeks so you're able to cover these things. You need to stay strong and explosive. But like I spoke about with the person who asked the vertical jump question, you don't want to, at this point, it's not about getting stronger per se, because that's what you should have been doing through the winter. It's about being able to maintain your strength and being more powerful and explosive. I personally think so. So yeah, that's kind of what your winter, your training during the season looks like. But you also taper your week dependent on the competition. So like I said, some competitions are not as important as others. So let's say early season, you may not taper as much. By taper, I've got a whole video, guys, about how to train before a race. And also, I got quite a lot of videos, so check that out. But I talk about this a bit more. But basically, depending on what competition it is, what kind of athlete you are, because everyone's different. But like, but yeah. So basically, when a race is coming up, if you've got like 2-week period where, let's say you've got a race, if you're racing every weekend, then you might need to take, like, okay, let's say me just quick little example. If I have a race on Saturday, I will work backwards from that race. So for example, if I have a race on Saturday, then I'm either going to do my pre-meet on a Friday or a Thursday. It depends on how I've been feeling, work-wise, all that stuff. When you're adulting, you've got to figure out life, right? So I'm either going to do a pre-meet, and if you don't know what pre-meet is, then check out, I've got a video about pre-meet, check it out, right? I'm going to do pre-meet either on a Friday or a Saturday. I'll most likely take a rest day before that. And then the early days of the week, I'm going to work on whatever I feel like I needed to work on. So it might be a gym and a speed endurance, or it might be a block session and a this. It depends, right? So it depends on you as an athlete. Like I said, if you did indoors, then indoors should have given you some information to say, okay, what I need to work on in the first 60 of 100. This person's a 100-meter sprinter, so I'm answering it from that perspective. But yeah, I kind of work backwards. If you've got like 2-week period where you're not going to race, then you might do a bit more load volume in those weeks just to top up again. So you've got to kind of maintaining your fitness with staying sharp and getting sharper depending on when your races are. But during the season, you need to refine the areas of your race. So hopefully that helps. Let me know. Sister, why some countries sprinters don't run in the, sorry, my chat keeps disappearing, don't run in sub 9 seconds like in India? Or why, like in India, why don't people run 9 seconds? I think there could be a combination of different reasons. I mean, if you think about how many people there are in the world, it's not like everybody runs 9 seconds, right? But 9 seconds is obviously super quick. It's really fast, and it requires a lot to get there. I was watching a video the other day, so an old video, but I was watching it again, where people were saying some sprinters are born, not made. I do believe there is some, I don't think I answered your question though, Darren, looking like now that the outdoor season is approaching. I'll answer your question, but the question I was answering first was someone else's question. But in terms of what I'm doing, I've got another question, but I'll touch on it a little bit better. But yeah, I think in terms of running 9 seconds, I think you can't, yes, genetics does play a role in terms of possibly what your peak could be, but I don't think a lot of people have maximized what they can do personally. It's always looking at like, oh, I'm just doomed because of my genetics or whatever. I think you can work with what you got, and I can't answer the question as to why some countries, but I think if you're asking, let's say India, I think it's only now, like obviously being on YouTube, I see how many people in India are, obviously India's got a massive population, and I see how many of you guys are into sprinting, are trying to learn, but a lot of you guys don't have the facilities, you don't have coaches, a lot of you don't have coaches, and you're just like obviously trying to grab information from like YouTube and stuff like that. But I think, and you're just like piecing things together, but even it could be how your training programs put together, you're not even optimizing what you could do personally. So I think I can't answer per se why some countries, because it's not every country that has run 9 seconds, that's the truth. But a lot of times the countries that you find have done it, yes, there's the genetic side of things, but they've also how they train, who they're training with, the facilities, how they structure their week, how they do their nutrition, how they, all the things that they're really working on everything. By the 9 seconds, going from 10 seconds to 9 seconds is not a small thing. So you're just saying it like 9 seconds, but to go from a 10.11 to a 9.9, there's a lot of things. So you have to really, it's about tiny refinements that make all those different differences. So I just think, yes, if you're just going to look at it like, oh, because I'm not from a certain country, I can't do that, then you're already doomed. You have to have a mindset where you think that you can actually achieve something. Otherwise, you just, well, there's no point even trying. If you're not going to have a mindset, you just think, oh, because I'm from India, I will never make it. I will never be able to do this. You have to break out of that mindset first of all. And yes, there are, like I said, there are genetic factors, but I think if every person just thought, oh, I'm doomed because look who my parents are, then they would never achieve anything. So I think you need to break out of that mindset. But I think also it's being realistic and thinking, if you need to move out of your environment to actually achieve more, then you might need to do that. If you need to actually invest, if you need to invest in terms of pay for something to actually get better resources or better coaching, then maybe you might need to do that. So I think sometimes you have to you have to do what's necessary to actually get to where you want to get to as well, I think sometimes. So what are your training sessions looking like now that the outdoor season is approaching? Yeah, so me personally, so how I've been working the last couple of years, and it seems to be working for me, I'll be very honest, is I do like, I've always worked in terms of like blocks or like monthly blocks works for me. And then I go through like I said, I'm a fan of short to long approach. So I gradually over the winter, and then I restart the whole cycle again, like once this outdoor season. So I've just started again because I ended up not doing indoors actually, but I restarted again for the outdoor. So right now it's like I have a certain structure for my week. So my week tends to look like Mondays is a technical day, and a new thing I've implemented like this last 6-7 months, especially even with my clients, but I've implemented for myself as well. I do like a 2-week rota. I used to just have like a 1-week rota, but now I'm on a 2-week cycle. It allows me to get more things in and touch on more things. So like Monday tends to look like is a technical day. So that could either be when I'm working on the start/acceleration stuff, or I'll do like max velocity work, right? So it's more technical, it's still speed, but so obviously as the season is growing is getting closer or progressing into the season, as I'm going through my cycle of blocks that I create for myself, I increase the distance. So so I'll start my side of 10 meters, then I'll in the next block 20, in the next block 30, and I increase it like that along with my speed and intensity, right? So I work out specifically what I make everything more specific, so I know what I'm doing. Like if I have a set target time in my mind, these are the times I need to be hitting, right? And Tuesdays has become like a tempo / speed endurance day. It depends what I'm doing in that time. Wednesday is gym. I switched those 2 days used to be the opposite way around, but I switched them around for different reasons. And Thursdays is my I said Tuesdays is a tempo day. Thursdays is a short speed endurance day. So Tuesdays is a long speed endurance day. Thursdays is a short speed endurance day. Friday is another gym / is a gym day. And on those days when I run, I also do plyometrics and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what my week looks like. And I have a 2-week rota in terms of what I do. And in terms of the intensity, speed is going up. So percentages of runs need to be need to be fast, hitting target times, keeping my body fresh, trying to keep fresh, especially when you are working and all of that good stuff. It's really challenging sometimes, but that's pretty much what my thing looks like. And I've got my own personal warm over training coming up, which I'm looking forward to. So hopefully get a really good training block in. All right, I got maximum 25 minutes. I'm going to just see what these people are asking me. What's the average height of a male sprinter? Someone else answer that question, please, because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, to be honest. 5'10", 11, I don't know. I actually don't have a clue. There's a range. People go from short to tall. I don't know what the average is. I'm sorry. Maybe I should know that, but I don't. Can somebody else answer that question? Who do you think will be the next British champion between Jeremiah Azu, Eugene Amadazdi, Louis Hinchcliffe and Darnell Hughes? We're going to have to see, guys, how the season's going. Sprinting in Britain is exciting. So I don't know at this particular moment in time, because the season is long. The British champs are in August and loads of things can happen. That is the reality. Loads of things can happen. But Jeremiah did amazing indoors. He really, really did. And he believes, he really has that self-belief. He's had it for years and he's going to have, his confidence is going to be sky high. So, yeah. Fitness athlete, free average height is about 5'11". Oh, that's the name. Fitness athlete free. Oh yeah, thank you for answering that. I was thinking like, okay, after 5'10" minutes, so 5'11". Yeah, Russ probably knows, I don't know. Lowest. Also, I think no one else is 5'11". Okay. Okay, right, let me go back to the questions. Tips on how to remain consistent so that health and fitness becomes a lifestyle, not just a seasonal change. So a lot of people struggle with, not a lot of people, it is true, a lot of people. I think if you're in sport and you're a sprinter, because you have a performance goal, it makes it, you're in that world. But I think people who are transitioning into the world of fitness, into the world of sport, because there's beginning to be a crossover between sport and fitness, because people are realizing, and I've been saying it for a time, but if you have a performance goal, it actually helps you to stay motivated. So number one, motivation. Why do you want to do this thing? So why do you just want to keep fit? Why do you want to, yeah. I think the motivation side of things is important. So a lot of people know, oh yeah, I should train, I should work out, but it's just like, it's not valuable enough. Like it's not valuable enough. When I was thinking about, why do you wake up and brush your teeth every day? Why is it a habit? Why is it not something that you just did for a few weeks and then you stopped? You do it consistently because you realize that it's something I need to do. Like I've made a video once where it's like, we do things as humans because it's necessary. We do things because we're motivated to do it, or there's like some sort of value that we get out of doing it, or something like that, or enjoyment that we get out of it. So this thing, you need to see, health and fitness has to be something where it's not just like, I should do it. It's like suggestible. So either like, oh, I need to do this thing. It's something, just as I wake up, I wash my skin, I brush my teeth, I go toilet, then I should train, like I should work out, like I need to do it, something I need to do. So either you get to a place where you think it's something I need to do, and one of the reasons people who do sport, they train is because they need to do it. They go, oh, if I want to run 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, then I need to do X, Y, Z. So that keeps them motivated. So you need to have you need to see it as something you need to do as opposed to suggestion. And also you need to get to a place where it's valuable to you. So that's why the motivation needs to be there. So you've got to, I think figuring out that side in terms of mindset will help in that aspect. So how do you view it? Is it just something you think is suggestible, or something that you're like, no, I need to do this thing? Same way I brush my teeth, same way I wash my skin, I need to train. Like, is it that, or you just think, it's optional? Like, I can just do the diet stuff, or but I don't really need to train. It's not necessary. If you think it's necessary, you will do it. If you don't think it's necessary, you won't. So somehow you've got to figure that out in your mind, wrestle with that for yourself. Like, is it necessary for you, or is it not necessary? Is it something you think is suggestible, or something that you think that, no, I need to do this thing? Like I brush my teeth, I need to do this thing, right? So I think that's the first thing. I think also practical things, having a routine, the same way, like I said, going back to the getting ready in the morning, you probably have a time that you wake up, you probably have a breakfast that you eat, you probably have, like, some people have clothes that they wear on each day, or a route that you take to work, or whatever. So if you have a set day, a set time that you say, that's when I train, that's going to help you to make it a habit, make it a routine. If it's just like, oh, I feel like going today, I don't feel like going today. But if it's like, no, on Mondays I always go to the gym at 5, you're gonna go to the gym at 5. So you need to have a routine, a set time. But I think also not overcommitting yourself initially. So I need to get some water. I think if you first of all just start, if you're someone who has struggled consistently with consistency, then just starting with, even if it's once a week, and making that a consistent habit. Like, I go to the gym on this day, that's what I do. Like, it's not debatable. Like, that's what I do. I go on this day, and if I miss that day, I have to go another day. Like, that's literally a non-debatable thing. So I think a routine is the first thing. Like I said, having a set day, a set time. And then if you're someone who, if you know you struggle with that, then get yourself some accountability. So whether, like I said, a gym partner, whether a friend that goes with you, or whether it means like getting yourself a personal trainer, like you need to know yourself. Some people know themselves and they just go, I'm not going to do it unless I have someone. Like some of my clients will come and be like, oh, if you weren't here today, I was just not going to come. But because I know you're waiting for me, that's why I came. Like if you're someone who you know you need accountability, then get yourself someone. But like I said, I think the first thing that why people flop in and out of fitness is when you see it as suggestible as opposed to something that's a necessity. So if you think that, oh, I don't really need to do these things, like it's just like a fashion thing or whatever, as opposed to, no, I actually need to do this for my own benefit. Like it's something that I need to do, just like I should eat food, just like I need to go to the toilet, or I need to wash my skin or brush my teeth. If you think that, it's not really important, then you won't do it. Like, but if you think that it's something that you need to do, then you will do it. Okay. Let's see. I feel like I've gone a lot of places. I'm gonna skip this. Someone asked about recoveries. Okay, you didn't do indoors. Why? Are you competing this year? And how's training going? Thank you, guys. So let me know. I'm asking you guys a question. Are you competing? Did you compete indoors? That's the first question. Let me know if you competed indoors. Are you competing outdoors? And how is training going? That's 3 questions. I'll see that in a second. But let me see here. So I got like 15 minutes. You didn't do indoors. Why? Are you competing this year? And how's training going? Okay, so I was really looking to do indoors this year. I'm not gonna lie. The short answer to that question is I really felt that so I'm a believer. If your people are watching this and are like, what are you talking about? But I believe that God told me not to do it. I had a dream and I believe that I was not supposed to do indoors. So I didn't do indoors. That's a short answer. That's a short answer. However, training is going very well and I'm excited for the outdoor season. So we shall see how it goes. But yes, I am competing this year by God's grace. And like I said, I have got my own personal warm weather training coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. Break from work, but also a chance to just have a solid block of training for myself. So I went to watch British Indoors in Birmingham. Nice. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Was that your first time going to watch? Sprinter take any supplements? So I don't know if that's a question of like, should sprinters take supplements? Like, what's the question? Let me know, then I can answer it. I do have a video about supplements. I answered it once before, but check out one of my other lives. I made it a short video actually, so not a short, but I chopped that question up. So I've got a video about supplements. What supplements should sprinters take? Just going back to that first time watching indoors. Okay, nice. Did you enjoy it? Just going back to that question about I've lost where I am on questions, so we're gonna just end this soon. About recovery. The recovery from sprint sessions, one other thing that I will say about that is, like I said, there's a whole aspect of recovery in runs. So someone asked me about like, how do you train during the season? Especially if you're trying to hit target times, right? And let's say it's especially as it's long, like let's say it's more speed endurance type runs where the intensity is very high and they need to be fast, so the longer sprints, right? The recovery in terms of this time between your runs will be longer. So it will be longer in order for you to be able to hit those target times. So that's an important aspect of recovery as well. But also how you structure your week in terms of one session to the next. So when you do sprint session to sprint session, so the recovery of days between, and even sometimes just like having not every day high intensity. Some days intensity might need to come down, and then you can kind of go up and down. So that also is part of recovery when it comes to sprinting. First meet I went to watch was the World Championships, was 2017. Okay, nice. Jeremiah Azu, Amy Hunt, Amber Anning were at the indoors. Yeah, they did really well. They did really well. Okay, let me see what else I got here. If you could do only one thing to get faster, what would you do? Okay, hard question. I mean, let's say you've got there's nothing, you can only do just one thing. There's only one thing you could do. What would you do to get faster? Sprint. Sprint. No, like there's nothing. Obviously, we do all these other things as sprinters. So we do like Obviously the core of what we do is sprint, but we like break up like I said to, I can't remember who asked the question, but you break up the sprints. It's not just, you don't just do the same sprint every day, basically, right? So sprint would be the most important thing, in terms of if we're looking at whether you've got gym work, plyometric work, stretching, like if you're looking at all the other stuff we do, sprinting is the most specific thing when it comes to sprinting. So if you don't sprint, yes, you can do some other stuff and you might see some results in terms of, you don't, let's say you do the other stuff and you don't run often, then you can still see some results, but you're going to see the most results from sprinting. We do the other stuff to aid the sprinting, to like work on certain things, maybe to fix injuries, to like, if you've got stiffness certain places, or, you know, strengthen muscles and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, sprinting is the most specific thing you can do for sprinting. So I would say sprinting, if you could do one thing to get faster, then it would be work on your technique and sprint a lot more, sprint more, because you have to do it more. Like people, like obviously if you're just doing it for health and fitness, then yeah, you don't have to sprint like as much. But if you really want to get faster, like you need to do it a lot more. Like someone like me at this point in my life, I started sprinting when I was 12. So I've been doing it for like over 2 decades, right? So I've got a lot of history of sprinting in me. So when you've been doing it for a really long time, it's like you can, I don't want to say like, I don't want to say you can get away with doing it less. But if you're starting, especially if you start late, you've got a lot to make up for, in the sense of you don't have that much, your body doesn't have that much experience with it. So you kind of have to do it a lot more. So you need a lot of touches on the ground. You need to touch the ground a lot to learn to do it. Vertical jump height is directly when sprinting. Yeah, it's power based, so it can be used as like a test to see how your power is doing, sort of thing. But again, sprinting is plyometric, and you still have to produce more force when you're sprinting than you do in a short space of time. You still have to produce more force in a short space of time than you do when you are doing a vertical jump. So you have a bit more time to produce that force in a vertical jump than you do when you're sprinting. You have less time. So sprinting is even more, like the amount of force you have to produce, the time you have to produce that force is very, very, very small. So yeah, that's why sprinting is the most specific thing you can do for sprinting. It is very powerful, it is plyometric, but yeah. So thank you guys for joining me. Is there any more questions? I've been chatting for like nearly 15 minutes. That is funny. Let me see if I missed anything, because I was doing the count, but then I lost where I was going. So hopefully I answered you guys' questions. I asked you guys a question. Did you compete indoors? So if you're watching this on a replay and you get this far in the video, then I'll know because you answered the question in the comments. So the 3 questions are: number 1, did you compete indoors? Maybe I should make it 4 questions. Number 1, are you a competitive athlete, or do you want to be? Number 2, did you compete indoors? Are you going to compete outdoors, and how's training going? So let me know those questions in the you need to break down your training into start, acceleration and top speed typically. Is that a question or a statement? But yeah, I think you do need to work on those things. I think you do need to, especially like if you're let's say you're like a team sport athlete or whatever, then you don't necessarily need to do starts per se. But if you're someone who wants to improve, like the question that was earlier, I want to improve my 100, my 200 or whatever, then yeah, you need to work on your start. It's a skill, it's a separate skill. Your acceleration, your max velocity, obviously you need the fitness side of things, you need your speed maintenance, you need your technique, because it's going to help you improve all of those things, right? So, and then obviously that's why we do all the other stuff, to help the other stuff. But yeah, I personally do think so, if it's a statement. But yeah, I think, if there's any more questions, I'll just wait for a second. Hopefully you guys could hear me this whole live. I think it cut out a little bit, but I don't know. I'll see afterwards. But I really appreciate you guys joining me today. But yeah, like I said, I'm really going to try to do a live like once a month. Okay. Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I'm really going to try and do these lives like once a month. So far I'm doing all right. But yeah, if you have questions, like I said, you can ask them in any comment, on any video, on the community tab, DM on Instagram or anything like that, and I will try my best to answer in a live or make a video. That's the easiest way for me to answer. Answering like by text on a Instagram is, especially when I have a lot of DMs, it's very, very time consuming, and I'm running a business, guys, so it's really hard to answer. So that's why I'm doing lives now, to try and help answer questions that I get. So hopefully that's still helpful for you guys, and I will try to. Okay, last question from Kay. She says, how to get into sprinting as a newbie. Okay, as a newbie, so I would say you have different options. But number one, you can train with me. Come and join us at the Pure Track Speed Camp. Check it. But that is actually a genuine thing you can come and do. You can train, find yourself a local, you could find yourself a local track, and usually at a local track, you'll have a local club. That's an option. You can, like I said, begin with like drills, and obviously there's a lot of videos like on YouTube and stuff. But if it's something that you're like, because a lot of people they'll watch YouTube and they'll start doing it, and they're like, oh, I want to get better. So they'll find, even if you just book yourself one session, you're like, get someone to show you how to do it properly. I have people that will book like just a block of 4 that I can help. They're from different sports all the time, but they're like, oh, I want to get more powerful. Like I had someone who does, is it Muay Thai? Yeah, recently, and he's like, oh, his friend said that he should start sprinting because it makes you more powerful. So he wanted to improve his technique and stuff. So we had like 4 sessions, and then I helped him with that. But then you can move on, and then you can go with what you got, or then like that. But local, it depends where you want to take it. But starting off, there's lots of free videos on YouTube. So like I said, drills is the best place to start. I mentioned that earlier in the question. I think drills is the best place to start. And then if you're like, okay, I want to get into sprints, then I would say go from short to long. So don't just try and do long sprints straight away. Literally start with like 10 meters, 10-meter sprints, walk back recovery, or give yourself whatever time you need, and then like do it again. You don't have to rush. It's not like you're not trying to break records here to begin with, but it's teaching your body how to move. But you want to work on your technique. But a lot of time working your technique, you do need a second eye, especially if you've never done it before. So even if it's one session that you book with somebody, I would suggest that. If it's going down to your local club, finding like where they have a sprint coach there, then you can ask, can I join a group or whatever. That's options like that. But yeah, and then yeah, like I said, I keep plugging the Pure Track Speed Camp, but it is going to come. And guys, you don't want to miss out on spaces. So them spaces will go. So them ones where if you were thinking about it, just get fit for now. Like do your strength training, do your runs, your plyometrics, start jumping. I forgot to mention that. Start doing some plyometrics, start low level. And again, increase the intensity over time. You don't have to rush it, take your time, you've got time. But yeah, those are some options. And yeah, TarimaThompson.uk, got loads of videos, footage, resources, all that stuff. And if you're interested in coaching, you can find out there as well, guys. But hopefully this live has been helpful, and I've been chatting for over 50 minutes, and my voice, I need a drink. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for everyone that joined me and everyone that watched the replay. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with somebody that you think would benefit from this. I'm going to try and chop it up, and questions that I think I can just make as a short video, I'll put it on YouTube so people can, and I'll timestamp this video as well as best as I can. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.